And welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska for the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation State Championships. A morning of girls action, and in Class A, it's the Grand Island Islanders taking on the Lincoln Southeast Knights. Both of our previous matches today have gone three straight. Alma over Dodge 3-0, and Scottsbluff-Gehring knocking off Blair 3-0 as well. The favorite here would be the Lincoln Southeast Knights taking on the Grand Island Islanders. As the ladies warm up, let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these Class A girls state championship teams. Let's begin with Grand Island. The Islanders led by Bob Barlow. Andy Smith is a junior. Andrea Lute is a senior. The sophomores are Sinsel and Hewlett. Mandy Barlow is a senior, and Starla Reed a junior. That's a look at Grand Island. Lincoln Southeast Knights, led by head coach Kevin Dunkel in his 13th year as a coach, one of the good guys in high school bowling. Lauren Johnson, a junior, three sophomores, Alyssa Smith, Vicky Shum, Natalie Check. The juniors are Madison Hergenreger, Brittany Henry, and Megan Whaling is a sophomore for the Southeast Knights. So how did these two teams get here? Well, it was a tough battle yesterday as Southeast knocked off Kearney 3-2. And then Southeast went on to beat North Star in a very heated battle of two of the more talented teams, not only in Lincoln but in the state. Southeast won it 3-2, and then Grand Island knocked off Lincoln Northeast 3-0. And so Grand Island and Lincoln Southeast find themselves here battling for the girls Class A state championship. So the Islanders will be up first on the left lane, and that's Andy Smith, the junior. Just coming up a little light, 6 count. So now in the right lane, the junior. Only her second year of competition. Here's Madison Hergenreiter. Madison with a bit of a unique approach, just a 1-2-3 step approach. Got that a little bit wide. Leaves the 1-2, so good pin count for Hergenreiter. Well, we talked about on the girls' side of things, it's been going quickly. Alma knocking off Dodge, Scottsbluff-Gehring over Blair. Some good matchups this afternoon in the guys. Don't forget that all the boys' competition will be contested later today at Sun Valley Lanes. Here's Hergenreiter. Needs to hook. Just slid it by. So both Grand Island and Lincoln Southeast open in the first frame. Andrea Lute, a senior, averages 135. Just started throwing a fingertip this year. Bad shot there. Leaves the 6-10. To remind you again, we're in Baker format. In Baker format, it's a best of 5. So whoever wins 3 of 5 Baker games, or the first team to win 3, wins the state championship. Baker bowling, of course, each bowler, especially here in Class A, it's 5 bowlers, so each bowler bowling 2 frames. The first bowler would bowl frames 1-6, second bowler bowls 2-7, and so on. So your anchor bowler, typically the bowler you want up late in matches with a lot of pressure and a match on the line.
That's right. You want your best bowler to be there for you in the clutch.
Here's Natalie Check for Lincoln Southeast. Slides that by. So Lincoln Southeast opens up the match with back-to-back opens. Grand Island picking up a spare in the second. Andrea Lute with the spare. Here's a look at Brianna Sinsel. Sinsel, just a sophomore. Nice ball.
Throws the ball real good, Larry. Great release. Right up that second arrow area where you need to be. Lanes are just freshly conditioned here prior to this match, so we'll see if the girls can overcome that heavy amount of oil that's on the lanes, and that's what you see happen right there as the ball fails to get up to the pocket area. Leaves the 1, 2, 4, and 8.
Now up, Sarah Hewlett for Grand Island. Hewlett gets the ball to the pocket, slaps the tin out of there, and Grand Island with the early lead, a double. So now Victoria Shum needing to pick this up to keep pace. Oh, didn't quite finish. A lot of skid in the middle of the lane. She was expecting that to cross over. Mandy Barlow. Barlow, a senior. Crosses over. Mandy Barlow tied for the singles title in yesterday's singles competition. Alyssa Smith. Alyssa just a sophomore. That comes up a little light as well. And leaves the 2-pin.
A lot of oil in the lanes, Larry, so that's going to cause the bowlers to have to be more accurate. Now, if the opportunity arises, most of the players should probably move their feet to the right and play that hooking area of the lane, since these are all right-handers. Get that ball to hook into the pocket, but right now, everybody just kind of feeling their way out here early in this Class A match.
Matt Smith with the spare goes right at it. She leads this team with a 186 average. Not too far behind, a 184, at least in district competition, is this young lady, Lauren Johnson, daughter of Jason Johnson, the assistant coach at Lincoln Southeast. Well, a lot of turn on that ball and a nice shot by Johnson.
She's using a ball. This is the first one we've seen today so far, Larry. She's using a ball with a little more surface, we call it, which that means is the next time she's up, we'll call the attention out to it. You'll see that the bowling ball is a little more of a scuffed or a dull appearance. What that does is that creates more friction on the lane, gives you a chance to hook the lane a little more.
Well, let's look at the Class A singles standings. The singles competition was contested yesterday. Mandy Barlow of Grand Island, whom you're seeing here today, and Alyssa Smith of Southeast finishing, as well as Victoria Shum of Southeast finishing in the top 10. So Mandy Barlow was the medalist, shooting .593. A little bit of reaction there. And leaves a 6-pin. That's singles competition. The first 3 games, they bowled 4 games yesterday of qualifying to seed to the top 8, and then it's a best-of-5 Baker format, much like what you're seeing here, or exactly like what you're seeing here today.
It's got a hook.
Just slides by it.
See the reaction on her face. She's like, oh, what? That didn't hook. Well, we got to make an adjustment here. We need to move our feet to the right. The old adage, miss right, miss left, move left. If you miss the pocket or miss your spare to the right, it's usually a cause that it didn't hook enough. You need to move back to the right to give the ball a chance to finish properly.
And a nice cover there by Madison Hergenrader. Hergenrader, the junior. They cut into that 28-pin lead that Grand Island had, and this is just pulled a little bit. Gives the 1-3, 8-10. Now Natalie Check.
Natalie pulled it earlier too, so I think it's a case of the TV jitters with her, but you need to loosen up, pick out a target on the center of the lane and get that ball near the pocket. The balls are not hooking a lot today because of the oil in the lanes. Right down the middle at the 1, 3, 8, and 10, and hooks by.
So Andrea Lute just slides that by, and now an opportunity for Lincoln Southeast to cut into that lead yet again. A spare here would cut the lead to within 5. Good cover. Nice shot, and now we have a new ball game.
It's a little better.
Brianna Sinsel, the sophomore for the Islanders.
Good rotation on the ball. Thumb and fingers come out at 10 o'clock like you're supposed to. Creates good hook. Does get a little lucky and carry the Brooklyn side.
Here's Victoria Shum. Shum, very repeatable game. A nice ball there and a great finish.
She's a little different release there, Larry. She has a different release. You'd call that release a little more straight up, what we call behind the ball. Fingers and thumb do not rotate around as much. The ball hooks less. It's more of a heavy roll, an end-over-end roll. Now, that could be advantageous in a heavily oiled lane like we're seeing today because it'll cause that ball to go into its roll a little sooner.
You saw Sarah Hewlett there with the strike for Grand Island. Now here's Smith, and Alyssa Smith buries the pocket.
Well, we're getting lined up.
Back-to-back strikes for Southeast and Grand Island. And this is a 5-pin game with both teams on doubles going into the 10th.
Boy, she just has a great arm swing, fluid, smooth. She just needs to move a little bit to the right, get the ball in the hook area of the lane a little more.
So Mandy Barlow leaves it a little wide in a tough 2-10 split now. You see the difference, 5 pins. Big shot here by Johnson. Lauren got it. That puts Southeast in the lead.
Well, I would say you got to take a run at this, Larry, obviously.
At this point, she needs to convert with Lincoln Southeast on a 3-bagger.
It's going to hook a lot, and does not. It's going to give Southeast game number 1, it looks like.
So 161, the final score for Grand Island after leading much of the match. In fact, Southeast did not take the lead in the match until Lauren Johnson stepped up in the 10th and threw that first shot. She got it again. Boy, what a great game Lauren Johnson has.
Just wonderful, wonderful position. As you see, when the ball comes back up the ball return, you'll see that that ball is going to have a little more of a scuffed appearance. We're going to have a sub here for the 10th frame. And this is Brittany Henry, Larry. We've got a little story behind Brittany.
Brittany's hearing impaired. In fact, she has an interpreter with her on the team. It's a big part of the team. You'll see Cindy Skiles sitting behind her. But Brittany's a junior at Lincoln Southeast in her 2nd year of bowling. Boy, nice form, too. You can tell they're working on that game a little bit, can't you?
Well, this one's got all the makings of something very exciting because the Lady Islanders, they are, that's a storied program. They've been to state many times. You know, I think it's just a great match shaping up here. And look at the coaching staff there at Southeast. Coach Dunkel, as you said, one of the nice guys in high school bowling. And you're not going to find too many guys with great character and kindness like Kevin. He's just a great, great guy.
So Lincoln Southeast takes that first game, and we start off the second game coming in a little light. And Hergenrader
bad break there, Larry, leaving the 5-7 in the pocket. But now we'll see if the Islanders can get back some momentum. Andy Smith up on the right-hand lane.
Comes in a little light as well. Southeast on top. 1 game none here in this Class A state championship.
Let's slide the 5 into the 7. Needs to get the ball to the right of the 5. That's got a chance, Larry. Oh, just not enough hook at the end there. So this spare could play just as much drama into it. This is not easy. This is the 2, 4, 5, and 7. Need to get the ball to the right of the 2. Just like that, but just came in a little high and caused that 4 to wrap around the 7. So
all even through 1. Natalie check on the left lane for the Knights.
See if Natalie can get the ball. There you go. That's a better release, Natalie. And I think she had trouble the first game hanging on the ball and pulling it. I think that one came off her hand a little too easily, leaving the washout.
Starla Reed, new to the team this year, a junior, crosses over. 268, 368.
Washout here for Natalie. Needs to get the ball to the left of the head pin. Ball takes out the rest of the pins. The head pin takes out the 10, just like that. Oh!
A nice little run there by Southeast, but can't convert. Let's see if Reed can pick up her spare. Just slides by it. So once again, through 2 frames, neither team threatening. 17-16, Southeast on top. Here's Victoria Shum.
Notice how her hand stays behind the ball, causing a heavy roll, but pulled it a little bit there. Comes in high.
Victoria's older brother, Kenny Shum, is the head coach of the Nebraska men's bowling team. She's getting a little bit of instruction. Here's Brianna Sinsel. Sinsel crosses over. You know what Brianna says the good luck charm for Grand Island is, don't you?
I don't know.
shining up the head of Coach Bob Barlow.
Well, you know, I'm sure Bob feels strongly about that, and whatever works, whatever advantage you can get.
That's right.
And we're not going to pick on Bob by showing that on camera quite yet. We'll wait and see if he wins the championship, and then we'll maybe I'll ask him that question at the end there in the interview. That's got to slide, Larry, and it just does.
So good cover by Sinsel. Both Grand Island on top once again here in the second game. Here's Alyssa Smith, ultra competitive, Coach Dunkel says. This Lincoln Southeast team, this Lincoln Southeast program has run into some hard luck the last few years. In fact, they've finished second at the state championships each of the last 3 years. Of course, you go back to 2004 was the first time as the 4-pin trip forward there. And a nice shot by Sarah Hewlett, the sophomore. And here's another look at Alyssa Smith. But Southeast has 3 consecutive years finished second in the state championships, and Smith runs right by that one. But yesterday they beat off a very tough North Star team. Boy, North Star really one of the up-and-comers in terms of youth in their program. They've got 3 outstanding freshmen on that team.
Wow, great shot there. Just
Mandy Barlow.
191 average, Larry, in high school. It's really good.
One of the very dedicated players on this Grand Islander squad. Says she practices 4 or 5 times a week, and a great shot there by Lauren Johnson.
I think she kind of knew that one left her hand. She kind of waved it in a little bit, kind of got out to the right a little bit quick, but the ball with that scuffed resin ball she's using recovered well when it hit the dry board. She's switching balls now to something that's harder. She's moving her feet all the way to the left side of the approach, and she's going to go cross lane at the 10. She'll throw this fairly straight at it, and she does, no problems.
So the 2 teams will switch sides. I want to remind you that if you're interested in helping the effort to recognize high school bowling as a sanctioned varsity sport in Nebraska, please log on to www.nhsbf.com. You can contact your school's athletic director. Let them know how important high school bowling is to you. Remember, 20 other high school athletic associations have sanctioned high school bowling in their state. Nebraska trying to do the same through the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. One of those young athletes.
Talked about it, Larry, while you were away. We talked about it earlier that we're trying to keep awareness raised, and we're doing our best to keep athletic directors and administrators informed of the upside to adding bowling to their sports menu that they offer in their schools, and continue to make more progress. We have more districts, and the NSAA proposed it this year than we've ever had, so it's a slow process, but it's methodical, and always helps if mom and dad and the student can tell the AD how important it is to them in their own hometown school.
Got a nice cover by Madison Hergenrader. So now here on the left lane, Starla Reed. Starla Jr., very upbeat. According to her coach, trips that 4-pin forward, and a carry for the Islanders.
Islanders starting to pull away here.
That comes in a little light. Down by 35 pins is Lincoln Southeast in the 6th frame. Brianna Sinsel with the shot. A little bit high. She'll have some work to do. What a great job the folks here at Sun Valley Lanes do in putting on this state high school championship, and of course proprietors around the state who give their time to high school bowling, and certainly appreciated by all of those involved. But especially here at Sun Valley Lanes, John Lucido and his staff, the job that they have done in setting up this arena finals and making the participants and the coaches and the fans feel so special about making it to a state championship environment.
Well, Larry, being a bowling proprietor too, the amount of revenue excuse me, that John and his staff, or the John and the owners of Sun Valley Lanes, the amount of regular bowling revenue that they basically forgive because of hosting this event over the weekend. As you know, there's no cost to the students. We don't charge the students. It's just like any other high school athletic event. John, it's middle of February, man. This is prime bowling season. It's snowing and blowing outside as we speak, and this place would be packed if it wasn't for this event. But we see the value. This is like our greenhouse of bowlers, and we're growing our greenhouse, and we're developing new players through high school. We hope they keep bowling as a lifetime sport throughout their careers. So John just does a wonderful job. I've been a part of about 3 national ESPN telecasts in arena finals with PBA events, and this is just as good. It's just as good. And a great job by everybody at NET.
Tremendous amount of time that they spend here setting up this arena. What a great shot by Mandy Barlow and a double. She is a solid player.
The key to her success, if you watch when she releases the ball, how she has a deep knee bend, and her foot, her slide foot, her left foot will remain perpendicular to the foul line. It'll form a T. Her foot will form a T to the foul line, and it allows her to stay in balance, and she just stays behind the ball, gets great leverage, good timing. Just watch this as she comes to the line. Look at that, just smooth, great release. Oh, just a great shot, just bad luck there.
Straight up through the back of that ball too, stays behind it well, keeps the elbow in, no flying elbow there.
This young lady has just as good of fundamentals. She goes cross lane at the 6.
So Alyssa Smith picks up the spare, but game number 2 is going to go to the Grand Island Islanders. Grand Island going to shoot 190 plus, in fact, make it a 193 with that spare conversion. So the Islanders 193 in game number 2, and they will even it at 1 game apiece with Lincoln Southeast. This is our first match of the day that's gone longer than 3. Of course, as we said before,
we get paid by the hour, right? It's okay.
That's right.
Coach Dunkel's going to allow a sub to finish up the fill ball for the 10th frame of Southeast, and that's going to be Megan Whaling.
Megan, a sophomore for Lincoln Southeast.
That's what's nice about Baker Bowling. You can sub in and sub out very liberally. And we'll let Megan pick the spare up as we're tied 1-1 here after 2.
Just a reminder that there's still plenty of time to pick up your state high school bowling championships apparel. Shirts, sweatshirts, bowling towels, bag tags, they're all available at www.nhsbf.com. You can go on there and check it out today. A lot of stuff for you at nhsbf.com. Learn more about high school bowling, the efforts to sanction the sport by the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. You can pick up a DVD of these matches, create some memories for a lifetime, and of course all of your championship apparel as well as at nhsbf.com. It really becomes a resource for a lot of the coaches and students, bowlers throughout the season, because it's where they keep up on statistics and standings and how things are going in other districts across the state, all leading up to this weekend at Sun Valley Lanes, the state championships in boys and girls. Of course, we're in the 3rd match of the day here at Sun Valley Lanes in the state championships. The boys yet to come this afternoon, and you see there Southeast taking game number 1. Grand Island comes back and takes the second one. There's Andy Smith to start it off for the Islanders. Up on the right lane now will be Madison Hergenrader. Madison, a junior, averaging about 150. She'd like to go to Nebraska in the future. Nice shot by Hergenrader.
Well, who wouldn't? Nebraska still with just one of the premier college bowling programs for women's bowling in the country, and Coach Straub just keeps rolling along down there. He may make people forget about a guy like Osborne that won a lot of football titles with the dynasty Bill's got in bowling.
That comes off the wall and takes out the 8-pin late, so a nice conversion for Grand Island. You don't really think that'll happen? Okay. Yeah,
Coach Osborne, if you're watching the show today, please don't take away my season tickets. Okay, that'd be bad.
If he's watching.
Well,
because he's watching.
I'm
Please
sure
don't
there's
take
nothing else he's got to do on Sunday.
Right.
So the Islanders, you see just their form is very similar from bowler to bowler. Very solid at the foul line. Very methodical approach. Very in balance. They look almost the same. You want to call it that, Larry. But that's just a sign of great coaching. Bob Barlow, Ritker Level 1. The Ritker coaching program is named after the great PBA bowler from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, Dick Ritker. Bob himself has several 300s and 800s, and assistant coach Scott Bradley. They do a great job with that Lady Islander program. Very tough. Now watch here as Victoria Shum releases the ball, just stays behind it with the hand and the wrist. And if she would just move her feet and her target about 3 boards to the right, she would be flush in the pocket nearly every shot. And a heavy rolling ball like that, a ball that rolls end over end, has such a higher percentage of carry because the ball is rolling into the pins. It's got all of its energy releasing into the pins, where sometimes the balls that hook wildly can send pins around others instead of into them. So, but the 2-4-5 here, you need to pick up spares no matter what.
Shum with a chance to tie it up with the spare here. She's really a multi-talented young lady. She plays the violin, plays the piano, loves to draw and take pictures. And not a bad bowler either. Has a GPA, by the way, of 4.174.
Well, I don't think you can do that. I thought 4 was the highest you could get.
You're that smart.
Another washout. Still battling with a heavy amount of conditioner in the center of the lane. These lanes were just conditioned prior to the match. Complete clean and reconditioning, and this is what we would call a standard house condition, or a lane condition that is not a sport condition or a PBA style condition. So these are really conducive to maximum scoring, but sometimes if you don't hook the ball a lot, the heavier oil in the center can keep it from hooking. Gotta get the ball to the left of the head pin and send it into the 10, and didn't get far enough left.
So a good run by Sarah Hewlett. Comes up just a little short. Now back-to-back opens by Grand Island has really opened the door for Lincoln Southeast, and if they can get this one, with the big double, comes in a little high.
A little slow. Yeah, sorry, Larry. Just a little slow there on that release. I'm just looking at our bio sheets here. She's been on TV the last 3 years, I do believe, in the state finals. Correct, Larry?
That's right.
That's right. They won in 2004. Actually, the last 4 years. She's been on TV the last 4 years. Oh, I'm
Lauren,
sorry, 3 years. She's a junior. I'm
right.
sorry.
Yep.
But she's been on TV.
Well, maybe she was here when she was an 8th grader watching.
Yeah, I suppose that's a possibility. And that helps. I mean, all that experience just helps things out.
Every year she's been in high school bowling, she's been in the state finals. All 3 times on NET. So the 2 teams will switch sides as they get ready for the second half of game number 3. It's all even at a game apiece. Southeast won the first. Grand Island came back, take the second game. And here in game 3, Lincoln Southeast after that open, we're about even depending on what happens here with Andy Smith. Just can't get that 4-pin to fall. So near dead heat. Call it a 2-pin advantage, 3-pin advantage for Grand Island. Hergenerator right in the pocket, can't get the 10 to go.
Just a couple of bad breaks, both players there. Threw it well enough to strike each time. Now we'll see how we fare on the cross lane spare. Now she is lined up more in the center of the lane, going across instead of coming from all the way on the right. Larry going through that big puddle of oil. She was more towards the center, navigated that very well through there to get to the 4-pin. Now the opposite, cross lane at the 10 here for Southeast Hergenerator.
So another open for the Knights. And that gives Grand Island now a double-digit lead. Andrea Lute crosses over and smashes home a strike.
It all looks the same on the old TV screen. So,
yeah,
Better release that time. Oh, just a little fast though, Larry. Boy, she got out of that ball good. She was having trouble with her release earlier. That's just a bit quick for Natalie there for Southeast. Chance for Grand Island to jump on it now and take a commanding lead.
Pass is over. Natalie check with one. So Lincoln Southeast run into a bit of a skid here. 3 straight opens in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. 93 in the 7th. Spare here. Grand Island will take a commanding lead and just misses.
Nobody wants it, Larry. They're kind of trying to leave the door open for each team. A strike here is going to put Southeast back in close to only having a 10-pin deficit. And there it is. Crossover, but a double put them right back in it.
So now an important shot for Lincoln Southeast. A strike on the next ball by Southeast, and we essentially have a dead heat. Nice ball. Hewitt leaves the 10-pin. Big shot here by Alyssa Smith. Alyssa, just a sophomore, averaging 186.
Top of her arm swing, Larry. Watch how she opens that arm and that shoulder up for maximum revolutions. Just a little slow there. When she comes to the top of her arm swing, she opens that shoulder and actually opens her palm up, gets her whole hand underneath the ball. But in a situation like that, you've got to make sure you get the ball down the lane to your target, otherwise it's going to hook high like it did. Great cover there. That's very big.
Important shot by Hewlett in the 9th. And the spare keeps Grand Island on top. Another important shot by Alyssa Smith. Got it. So both teams with spares in the 9th. And now it's a 10-pin lead by Grand Island. And it will come down to the anchor bowlers. Here's Mandy Barlow, the senior. Good form there. Got it.
Just, that ball stored that energy right till it made its move to the pocket and just sent everything in its way at the 7-pin. No chance. Strike situation for Southeast. They've got to have it right here. Otherwise, Grand Island wins the match.
Got it.
Answer.
Big shot by Lauren Johnson.
Well, Larry, you know we have a situation set up for a potential tie here.
Unless Barlow strikes here. If she doesn't, but she does.
It's a winner.
So the best Southeast can do is 163, and that's if Lauren Johnson throws 2 more strikes, and all Mandy Barlow from Grand Island has to do is keep it on the lane, and after that, it doesn't matter. So Grand Island, after dropping game number 1, has come back to take games 2 and 3, and they now lead it 2-1 in the best of 5 Baker format. Good place for that.
Big smile there from their anchor bowler, and she knows that they're 1 game away from a state championship, and just a great, fundamentally sound team.
Here once again is Brittany Henry. And a great cover by Henry. So 169-153 was the final in that match. Reminder, you can preserve these great championship memories forever with the DVD copy of the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation Championships. For a copy of the NHSBF Championships, you can log on to www.nhsbf.com. You can follow the links. Get your copy of either the boys or girls state championships. Log on today and preserve your state championship memories for a lifetime with a DVD from the NHSBF. So Andy Smith will start out game 4 for Grand Island.
Way to get this done is to start off with a strike, and knowing your opponent is back on their heels. That's delivering that blow to let them know that wanting this really bad, and they just have been in and around the pocket for the majority of the 3 games we've seen. Southeast has got an answer.
And Hergenrader goes right through the heart.
Just a little slow, Larry. I mean, she doesn't have a lot of ball speed anyway. It's not a bad thing, but just in the position where she's playing the lane, she just needs to have a little more speed on the ball to hold the break off. A double here, and man, it's got to really get into the heads of the Southeast bowlers, but instead it's going to be a difficult spare. A situation like this, you just go for the 2 pins. It's early in the game. You got a lot of frames to make up here, so you go for the pin count.
And a way to get 2 by Hergenrader.
This is the 1, 3, 8, and 10. A lot of ways to make and miss this. Basically, you want to get the ball right almost on the head pin for the ball to take out those 3, just like that.
Like that. Great shot by
explain it any other way, but
Darla Reed. And the big smile for the junior from Grand Island.
right, Natalie Check has kind of struggled with her release. That's a clean release, much better shot. Oh, just a tough break. She's got to pick up the spare, though, Larry. They can't give away a lot of opens. Grand Island's got too much firepower to let them open the door that far. Another good shot.
Right in the pocket, slaps that 10 out. Big strike by Grand Island in the 3rd, and they are clean through 3. Strike, spare, strike. And Southeast desperately needs this 10-pin spare and a good conversion. So Southeast tries to keep it within striking distance. They opened in the 1st, spared in the 2nd now. Now up on the right-hand lane, here's Sarah Hewlett. Hewlett has a nice follow through as well. That needed to finish, not quite enough. So Victoria Shum.
Both these spares, both these ladies have to attempt are to the left side of that heavier oil part of the lane. So they're going to have to go directly at them and keep their ball speed up so they don't chop it. And see, that's what we're talking about there. Ball comes in just a little fast and chop the 2 off the 5. So Southeast is back in this, Larry, if Victoria can spare, and then maybe they capitalize with a strike in the 4th. Got a hook.
A lot. So another door open for Grand Island. That'll bring up Alyssa Smith on the left lane for Southeast. But first, here is the anchor bowler, Mandy Barlow. Barlow comes up light again and leaves the 2-8.
She's going to look down at her hand there when she let go of it, Larry. Looked at it like maybe she lost her grip. She's picking up her rosin back there. You know, it's very cold and snowy out and dry, but it's hot under those TV lights. And you've got to be able to command good control of your ball at the point of release. A lot of bowlers will use rosin. Rosin typically dries your hand. It helps you with grip. There's also different powders you can use to help you come out of the ball if you're having trouble sticking in it. But cross lane at the 2 and the 8, and that very well done. Ball's got a hook and basically take out both. She gives a big exhale there as she was hoping for that result. Cross lane at the 4.
And a good cover by Lincoln Southeast's Alyssa Smith. So now the anchor bowler, Lauren Johnson.
It's a good look at her full fingertip grip. Fingers spread wide for maximum control of the ball. Just comes out of it real well.
Rips through it.
Yeah.
Trips that 4-pin forward, and that's what that power and speed will do.
She just set it short, just a touch, Larry, but it carried the 4.
Well, we talked about Brittany Henry earlier being hearing impaired, and there's her interpreter. Interpreter Cindy Skiles has really become a big part of this Lincoln Southeast team, so she's down there with the team, making sure she communicates what Coach Kevin Dunkel and Coach Jason Johnson want to say to Brittany Henry. He said she's been with them the whole year and really become a part of the team for Lincoln Southeast.
Grand Island's got to be careful here because Southeast is slowly chipping their way back into this thing. As a matter of fact, a double here will give Southeast the lead.
Bergenrader. That needs to cross over. And caught it. And it got it. What a shot.
Big smile there. And Madison's face catches the break. Of course, a lot of Southeast fans here right in their own backyard.
10-pin trips forward. Now here's Andy Smith. Need the conversion.
Good job.
Hang right in there. Big shot by the Islanders. Now remember, Grand Island on top 2-1 here in this best-of-5 Baker. Grand Island wins this, they win a state championship. Southeast wins it, we go to 5. So after that 8-pin count, it's going to be nearly a dead heat. Through 5 frames, Grand Island on top by a pin, 85-84. Here's Starla Reed working on a spare.
Strike here gives them the lead, Larry.
Pins danced around that 7-pin, thought about it. And a nice spare conversion. So a good shot by Natalie Check. The sophomore converts for Southeast. All even at 104. This spare will keep it even. Going after the 7-pin, needs to hang on. And it did.
Just enough lane.
Just enough pin as well. So all even, 104 in the 6th frame, both with spares up in the 7th. Here's Victoria Shum.
Straight at him.
Got it. Looked like maybe tugged it a little, but it sat in that oil and buried the pocket.
Advantage of that heavy rolling ball. The ball set right up nicely. Didn't have to worry about the overreact. Southeast is back in the lead.
Here's Brianna Sinsel. Spare to strike to keep pace. Good shot. Turned that tin a little bit. Couldn't quite knock it over. Now Alyssa Smith, the sophomore, has a knack for coming up big in key situations. Let's see if she does it here. Right in the hole. Got it. What a shot for Lincoln Southeast's Alyssa Smith. Southeast now working on a double as they head into the 10th frame, and now it makes this spare even more critical for Grand Island. And a good cover.
You've got to give both teams credit. Other than one open frame by Southeast and one split, they've been clean pretty much.
Lauren Johnson,
gotta hold off,
great
Larry.
shot, sit.
She got that ball out into the hook area just a little too soon. Now, you know, you got hot television lights, you've got everybody throwing reactive equipment. The lanes are going to go through a little bit of a transition. She may, next game, if there is a next game, have to make an adjustment.
Boy, that's a big shot by Sarah Hewlett because it throws the strike up in the 9th, and it gives Mandy Barlow a chance to step up and win the state championship for Grand Island. Key spare, she got it. So let's reset here, 173 in the 9th. If Grand Island throws this, if Grand Island doubles, they win it. So Mandy Barlow has to have this strike.
A little fast. Just came out of it a little crisp, a little fast. Potential 183 for Grand Island. So really all Southeast needs to do is keep it on the lane here. And we're going to go to the final game. Which she does. She's going to need to make an adjustment next game, Larry. The ball's the last 2 or 3 have hooked high. So she'll need to make a move on the approach and with her eyes to the left to allow the more skid. So this is fun to watch. These are 2 great teams, and the 5th game will be really exciting.
So Lincoln Southeast wins at 190-171, and we are all even at 2. So the first time we have extra games, we are going to a 5th and final deciding match. 1 game for the state championship between the Islanders and the Knights. I just want to remind everybody, if you are interested in helping the effort to recognize high school bowling as a sanctioned varsity sport in Nebraska, you can log on to NHSBF.com, contact your school's athletic director, let them know that you'd like Nebraska to be like 20 other high school states or states across the United States sanction high school bowling. So
well,
the fifth and final game starts off with Andy Smith.
We'll see. We'll see if nerves get in or if steadiness prevails and they continue to hit the pocket as everybody has. Right now, I think the guess might be nerves, Larry. A couple of shots that looked a little nervous-like from both ladies. So now spares are going to really dictate this thing. We've seen a couple of these championships already be pretty much decided because of a glut of open frames.
Right. So a nice spare there by the Islanders, and now Hergenrader will try to answer. Pretty good shot. Needs to hold right there. Got it.
A big exhale from her, too, from Megan. Or excuse me, Madison. I apologize, but here's a chance for a strike. Take the lead. Put the pressure back on Southeast.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the pressure of a fifth and deciding game.
Yeah.
Natalie check up on the right lane.
Struck last time up. Seems like she's found her groove.
3-10 split. A little high. Andrea Lute now to try to convert. Stay right there. Ooh, just chopped that one right off the three. So an open frame, Southeast can take the lead with a conversion of this 3-10 split.
Shots like that, Larry, that you look back and say, wow, she picked that baby split up and was responsible for winning it. So Grand Island needs a strike here. Down by 12.
Little high. Leaves the 6-pin. Shum now up on the right-hand lane. Good finish by Shum. Tugged it a little bit. Ooh,
what a tough break.
That was a bad break.
Can't believe the 7 stood there, but well, they've got the lead, so you need to play it safe. You need to save that pin because that pin on a spare will count as 2 if she misses it. So Natalie just needs to get one and shake it off and move on. That's got to slide a little and does enough.
And you didn't see it off camera there, but Kevin Dunkel, the head coach of Southeast, getting up and talking right away to Victoria Shums, telling, I'm sure, just that. Important to get one here. You don't need to go after it. 1 equals 2. We have the lead.
Changes balls.
And she gave it a run, though. Yep. So here's Sarah Hewlett. Sarah's just a sophomore. Good-looking game for a sophomore.
Strong swing. Low maintenance game.
2-pin rattled. It wanted to go. So all even through 3 frames. Both teams with an open. Both teams with 45 in the third. Alyssa Smith right through the heart.
Giving it right back to Grand Island. Both her and Lauren Johnson are encountering that transition area on the lane around the second arrow where the ball is now beginning to hook. It's not a big fix, Larry, but a couple board shift to the left with your feet and target will allow that ball to hold pocket and set. Now she needs to just go after 2 as the count is really important here. And she does.
So a nice cover of the 2. Lead now to the Islanders. Here's a good look at it. The Islanders with the spare on the 4th. And now Mandy Barlow. Mandy's high game, 278. High series, 728.
Great shot. Takes the 11-pin lead now for Grand Island. Okay, here's your clutch anchor bowler. She's your go-to person. See if she's made the adjustment. She's still in that same area. Got to make a move. She looks to Coach Dunkel and says,
and it looked to me like she was a little bit deeper, but maybe you're still getting that overreaction.
not much. She's still probably 2 to 3 boards right of where she needs to be. So, you know, you're down. 5th frame, state championship. You probably need to go for the spare here, Larry, but she's going to take one. Strike will give Grand Island 30 pin plus lead here in the 6th.
Back-to-back splits, back-to-back opens for Lincoln Southeast. Gives the Islanders the lead. You know, we talked about Sun Valley Lanes and the remarkable job they're doing. The proprietor at Sun Valley Lanes, John Lucido, also the commissioner of the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, and the amount of time that he gives to high school bowling in the state of Nebraska, not only through the donation of his center and his time here, but his physical time and the amount of time he spends on it is really remarkable.
One of the 5 most organized people I've ever seen in my whole life. He's just does a great job. And the staff here is remarkable. He has them all working together. The amount of hours they put in over this weekend is just tremendous. Turns this place into a great television setting.
Hung up on the thumb a little bit, but it might turn out all right. Oh, leaves the 5-7. Tough break.
Kevin Dunkel made the comment that they've just had so much hard luck on TV, and the hard luck continues because a couple of these shots have been good shots.
Yeah, what a cover there.
Just
great shot by Andy Smith.
The hard luck may continue because if they're making shots like that, it might be tough to stave off the Lady Islanders. They're going to slide it over, Larry, and got it close, but not enough.
But a lot to look forward to for this night squad. If you take a look at the roster, no seniors among the top 7 bowlers for Lincoln Southeast. They finished first place in the Lynx Challenge earlier this year. They won their district, 7-4 throughout the year in districts. They were in the state championship match last year, lost in 4 to Fremont. They lost in 3 to Lincoln High the year before that. So this is their 3rd consecutive year in the finals. This trend continues. Could be their 3rd consecutive year finishing in 2nd. Not over yet, but down by 32 pins and a long way to go to get back in it. They're almost going to have to count on mistakes from Grand Island to be able to pull this off. And that might be one.
Well, they need to throw strikes now, Larry. It needs to start with a spare here by Natalie Check. Then it needs to convert into strikes because they are behind by over 30. It's a start.
So now down by 21. In the heart of the order coming up for both teams. Here's Brianna Sensel. Sensel, the sophomore, averaging 165 on the year. Right in the heart.
Ball just faded at the end there. Didn't finish strong enough to carry out the 10. She has to strike, Larry. One more frame is not a strike. It's going to be tough for Southeast to mount a comeback. It's just might not be their day again, which you hate to see, but down by 23. Both teams working on spares in the 8th. For Southeast to have any chance, you got to hope for an Islander miscue.
Had a good cover.
I think they're beginning to feel it here.
So must spare now for Shum. Needs a hook. It does. Just grab those outside dry boards.
We told you the lanes are dry on the outside. All right. Well, here's the story right here. A strike right here, and it's going to force Southeast to at least have a double or more in the 9th and 10th frame. Oh, wow. Just a great shot there. A little light in the pocket, but it's thrown well enough for Sarah to carry, but you've got 2 really good bowlers coming up for Southeast. Both these ladies throw the ball really well. This is Alyssa Smith. Oh, man.
Just doesn't quite finish. Leaves the washout. 1, 2, 4, 10 for Smith. And here's Hewlett.
Cross lane at the 7. Well done.
So Hewlett converts.
Have any chance she's got hope for a spare here, and that's about
That'll do it. Yep.
does it there, Larry. That gives Southeast the best possible score of 142. Just staying behind the foul line here, and Grand Island on their fill ball, or they're on their 10th frame, will be state champs. But you're right, Coach Dunkel has got a great squad coming back for next year. Just a ton of talent. Alyssa Smith, just a sophomore. Lauren Johnson, a junior. Both of them already averaging close to 190. I mean, they have got to be some of the leaders in the clubhouse for next season.
So another look here at Lauren Johnson. Nice game. Can't quite get that 4-pin to trip forward. And without that strike there, that'll do it. So Grand Island is your state champs in Class A. And what a finish by Mandy Barlow. Good look at Brittany Henry as she concentrates. Good shot and nice conversion. So Brittany Henry covers up the spare. And now Mandy Barlow will finish it out for the Grand Island Islanders.
Oh, tough break.
Comes in a little high, leaves the big 4. But Grand Island, your state champs nonetheless. And a nice finish. You know, Southeast coming out strong right away, taking that game number 1, 189-161. The Islanders kind of had to hang around, won the second and third game. Picked up that third game 169-153. Southeast comes back in game 4 to win it 190-171. But in the end, it's the Grand Island Islanders. And the Islanders win it in the final 168-132. And the Islanders are the state champs. They win it in 5. When we come back on NAT Sports, we'll talk to the champs. Head coach Bob Barlow, along with Mandy. Stay with us. And welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Grand Island Islanders, your state champs in Class A girls, and now with the state champs, here's Steve Simpek.
Larry, thanks a lot. We are here with father-daughter, Coach Bob and Mandy Barlow. On our bio sheet, it says you practice a lot, sometimes 4 to 5 times a week. Do you have a special practice regimen? Tell us what you like about practicing and what drives you to do that when you're a senior and a teenager and could do a lot of other fun things with your friends, but you'd rather go bowling.
Well, I work at the bowling alley, so I'm
well, that helps.
But I don't know, work on spares, get my game down for this.
Well, that's great. Bob, Larry and I made comments on camera that the fundamentals of your team, they almost all the bowlers almost look the same. Just a solid release, solid at the line, great poise at the line, great balance. Is this what you teach to all your kids? Obviously, I hope so. I mean, it's obviously working, but just a great job of coaching. And we noticed that you have a lot of 300s and 800s yourself. You know, it works down the ladder.
It does. And with Scott, my assistant coach, and that's where it starts.
And do we want to talk about the superstition the girls have of what they do to give them good luck before the match?
Well, they like rubbing my head for some reason.
Well, it works, and if it brings home state championships, whatever needs to be done. Well, congratulations, guys. Great job, Larry. Grand Island, the Lady Islanders, your state champs are Class A. Back to you.
All right, so congratulations to the Islanders. Bob's got a shiny head. I wonder if he promised the girls he'd shave his head if they won the state championship. All right, so the Islanders are state champs. For the presentation of the trophies, we'll start with Lincoln Southeast. The runners-up, let's go to our public address announcer, Craig Carver.
Let's have another round of applause for all the participants in today's state championship match. And now for your trophy and medals presentation. First, the 2010 Girls Class A State runner-up Lincoln Southeast Knights. Assistant coach Jason Johnson and head coach Kevin Dunkel. Lauren Johnson. Alyssa Smith. Victoria Shum. Natalie Check. Madison Hergenrader. Brittany Henry. Megan Whaling. Congratulations on a great season, and here's your runner-up trophy. Now for your girls Class A 2010 State Champion Grand Island Islanders. Assistant coach Scott Bradley and head coach Bob Barlow. Andy Smith. Andrea Liu. Brianna Sinsel. Sarah Hewlett. Mandy Barlow. Starla Reed. Congratulations, ladies, and here is your 2010 Nebraska State Championship trophy.
So welcome back to Sun Valley, Girls State Champs Grand Island Islanders in Class A. So we've crowned 3 state champs. On the girls' side, Alma, Scottsbluff, Gering, and now the Grand Island Islanders winning the Class A state championship. When we come back, the final girls' championship of the day in Class C, Burwell Ord Arcadia, the 2-time defending state champs, will take on Centura. That's coming up when the girls' finals conclude on NET Sports.